talked about cash offers. What did we say? Okay, so what did we say? Like if you have you don't have cash for an offer, right? What's your next, like, how do you get cash for an offer?
Rent.
Yeah.
Spend his money.
Perfect. So you already have buyers with Chase and myself, and then you have a reason to call through your database for other people who want to invest in real estate or who already do invest in real estate. So, we're talking about making these contacts, talk about a value add. If you're calling someone and you're helping them look after their real estate portfolio by saying, hey, if I come across a real estate deal, do you want to hear about it? If they're a real estate investor, that is music to their ears. They're going to love you. They want to hear that. So today we're going to talk about how to create a cash offer for an investor. What you would actually need to do in order to confidently come up with a number that an investor would say yes to or would entertain. So first of all, we have to understand why investors buy below market value. Do we all understand that? We have to buy below market value because they have repair costs. That's what it takes to actually bring the property up to par. A lot of people don't think about this, but they actually have holding costs. They're replacing the buyer or the seller, and now they're the owner of the property. So when they own the property, they have what? They have taxes, insurance, utilities, and loan interest, because most of the time they're not using their own money. They have to pay the same types of things that owner was paying when they owned the house. So now they own. So they have to factor that in. Then they have to factor in the selling costs. So just like that buyer or that owner that's selling, if they were to list it, they have what? Selling costs, right?
Yep.
Yes. Do we charge when we list properties?
Yep.
Okay. Well, so when an investor buys it, they have selling costs. So they have to factor that in as well. And then they have risk and profit. So risk would be like, what if I buy it and it doesn't sell for the price I thought? What if I buy it and it doesn't sell? Or what if I buy it and there's a bigger issue after I pull the wall back? That's risk. And then they have to factor in the fact that they're in business to make money. They factor in their profit.
Can I point something out while you're on the screen? So the selling cost thing, I think this is actually really funny. We don't deal with this as much anymore, but there's still a company out there called Open Door, and all they do is cash offer. There was Zillow, Instant Buyer, or whatever the hell they had. Offer pad. There was like, I don't know, there's probably like 10 of them. And what's hilarious is a lot of the clients who use them were bragging that they didn't have to pay commission. Make sense?
Yeah.
But what's funny is the company who bought the home from them sold it, and how they sell it.
With an agent.
So their whole value proposition was, hey, don't even work with agents. That's a waste of time. They're costing you all this money. You can send commission. And then they buy it from you, and then they go hire an agent to sell it. Do you guys understand? So I'm just pointing that out. This is kind of a sidebar to what Brent's teaching you, but I want to point that out to you because that's what investors do. That's what these big money companies do, is they hire real estate agents because why?
It's the best way to sell a property.
It's how you get the most amount of money.
Yeah.
So just a blurb.
And I think it's important to know, as agents, it's not always in the client's best interest to list the property. Meaning they might not want the most amount of money because it's too complex of a process for them. They might need the most convenient process possible, which typically means that they're going to make less money. If they need to sell in a week, they're going to make less money because there are less people willing to perform in a week to buy that property. So, and so for us to be able to have multiple options when you sit down with someone, that makes you a true advocate for the client. Like you're now approaching it like an advisor versus just an agent that says, let's list your property. You have options. Okay. So the three numbers that you guys all need to know is ARV, which stands for after repair value, what the home will be worth once it's fully updated. And there's a way to figure that out. We'll talk about it in a second. Estimated repairs. So a reasonable renovation budget based on the property's condition. I'll teach you guys how to come up with an estimate for that. And then the investor's percentage. And I'll explain what that is as well. But once you understand an investor's percentage, then you can come up with a cash offer really quick. Okay. So what is ARV? ARV is the estimated value after all repairs and updates are made. So what you do is you go find comparables, recently sold, similar size, similar age, similar size lot, fully updated, renovated, not distressed, or in an updated quality repair. It hasn't been updated, but it is in updated. You guys know what I'm trying to say.
Average condition.
Average, yes, there you go. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh my gosh. And then located nearby. So it's just like pulling comps for a house, except for you're assuming the house that you're doing the numbers on is in better condition. The other thing you have to think about is when you pull these other comparables, if they're contractor grade updates, then that's what you're going to look at this house as. If they're all granite and wood floors and all of those types of things, you're going to have to take that into account on the other side. Okay, so here's a really easy way to look at it. 490, 500, 510, you pull three comps, what would the ARV be? The best, yeah, your best estimate is going to be like ARV is going to be somewhere in the $500,000 range. It's that simple. You guys just have to be confident enough to pull repaired properties and use those as comps. Okay, so estimating repairs, we look at interior finishes, which is paint, flooring, fixtures, trim work, kitchens and baths, rehab kitchen, or fully redone kitchen. There's a difference. So if the kitchen's in working order, cabinets are great, just needs countertops and floors, that's different than needs new cabinets and a full redo. Roof and HVAC, and landscaping and structure. So here's how you're going to look at it. Very simple way to do it. If it's paint, flooring, fixtures, and minor repairs, minor cosmetic repairs, you're $20 to $25 a foot. Okay.
That'd be the total square footage of the home.
Yes. So if it's 1,800 square foot house, it'd be $20 to $25. I'm going to give you guys an example where we break it down. If you need kitchen updates, bathroom updates, flooring and paint, so this is cosmetic plus you're redoing kitchens and baths, it's $40 to $50. And then if it's like big repairs, so roof replacement, HVAC system, major remodel and structure. So like with new kitchens and baths, like you're reorganizing the whole layout. That's what that would look like. You're $70 to $100 a square foot. Now, if you guys come in at this number and then an investor shows up, even if they write an offer, they're going to write an inspection contingency period. If they're not confident, they're going to go in and get the real numbers. So they'll have the opportunity in this world, they call it retrading. Meaning if they say, yeah, I'm going to give this person $300,000 for their house, and they go in and they find out that it needs an additional $20,000 in repair above what they had estimated, then their new offer would be rewritten to 280. Does that make sense? So even when you present these offers, it still gives the investor the opportunity to rework it if it's way more than what you anticipated. Okay, so it's very easy. The simple investor formula. Cash offer equals ARV, the investor percentage, and you minus repairs. Here's a way to come up with an investor percentage. If it's a heavy rehab, you're at 65 to 70% of after repair value. This will all make sense here in a second. If it's a medium rehab, if it's a light rehab, if it's a buy and hold. So if you're working with somebody who just wants to buy rental properties, you can probably get offers written up in the 75 to 85% of after repair value. This is all going to make sense in a second. Is it like going over anybody's side?
Well, can you go back just one slide real quick? So cash offer equals. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Makes sense? Okay. So here's how you calculate it. This is a go-to formula. So if you don't know if it's a heavy rehab, light rehab, any of that stuff, or you don't even want to guess, then just do 75%. So if you look at the formula of a $500,000 ARV, so you said, hey, after it's repaired, it's going to be worth $500,000. Okay. I've estimated the repairs to be $50,000. The investor percentage is 75%. You're gonna go 500,000 times 75% minus $50,000. That equals 375 minus 50,000. Your estimated cash offer would be $325,000. So if this were the only calculation you used, you could feel confident writing a cash offer on almost any property. Cash offer, ARV times 75% minus the repairs. And that 25% traditionally leaves enough room for holding costs, commissions, cost of money. So, and then what you can do if you want to go and present what we call a multi-offer, where you offer two cash offers and maybe a go-to market strategy, is you could do a 70%, a 75%, and then a go-to market strategy. And you obviously they're not going to choose the 70, but you're now giving them the option of choice or the illusion of choice, if you will. So here's a, we don't need that. So here's how you explain this to sellers. Investor buyers are purchasing the property with the intention of making repairs and reselling it. Their offer needs to account for repair costs, carrying costs, risk, and profit. Based on the current investor formulas and the condition of your home, here is the offer range that you would expect. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So that's the perfect script to invite them into the conversation of what a cash offer would look like. What we don't want people to do is assume that a cash offer equals a market value offer. Like it doesn't work that way. And there are a lot of sellers actually that just assume that's the way it works. Like by accepting an investor's offer, all they're doing is cutting out the agent. They're just saving the commission. That's what they assume. You have to repaint the picture and show them what a true cash offer looks like. So this is the key takeaway. ARV times 75% minus repairs. The way to come up with repairs, just dollar per square foot based on how much repairs you think it needs. That will get you close enough that if an investor comes in and they have to retrade, it's not going to be a big shift in the seller's expectations. So, questions? You guys all got it? Ready to go get some cash offers going?
No, this is,
Yeah, actually, I love this.
Cool. Takeaways.
Questions, Ty?
No.
You understand it all?
no,
Ask
What's your question?
I don't want to go there. It's too much. No, I'll have to just read this later.
Okay.
Will you send this out to everyone, Brett?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So if there's no repairs, you just subtract nothing, right?
Yeah, someone's like, they inherited, in a probate situation. You go to the house and it's in great condition. Grandma lived in it, she took care of it, she bought it 5 years ago, it's in perfect condition. It's just 75% less than actual repair or after repair value, which is the current market value. Things would be the same in that situation. You guys get that?
Yeah, I'm thinking scenario, someone walks in, they're like, oh, we don't work with realtors, we like to sell them on our own. And they're like, oh, well, we have cash offers, no commission. Would you want to be entertain that? They say yes, then you go meet with them and you present them the cash offer, and then you present them the go-to market, which in other words is, this is what I would do if I listed it. Which one would you rather have? Does that make sense? So I think some of these scenarios, you're not going to have any repairs, or you're going to have very minimal repairs. That's a possibility for how you guys are. Depends on how you're utilizing it. But what we talked about in daily growth is having this arrow in your quiver, because some people are going to be attracted to the idea of getting a cash offer, right?
There are people that are legitimately attracted to the idea of paying 0 real estate agent commissions, no matter what it costs them. Like that's crazy, right?
Well, I think that was 95% of the sales that were the cash offers from Zillow and Open Door. I think that's what it is.
100%. Yeah. Well, that's does everybody know what wholesaling is?
no.
Okay, wholesaling. I'm not a licensed real estate agent. I send out marketing saying, I want to buy your house. I put signs up all over town. that
The
say,
marketing says no realtors,
Yeah.
no commission,
Yeah.
no open houses, no BS.
You guys see those?
Yeah.
Okay. We buy ugly houses. You guys see those? Okay. So I'm not licensed. And I do this. I don't have money either. But I say I'm gonna buy your house. I then go show up to the seller and I'm like, ooh, man, in this condition.
You know,
What?
pay me.
Yeah, you might have to pay me to take this thing, but you know what? I could probably give you 100. Well, oh, you can't go below 150. All right, I'll do 145. Thing's worth $300,000. This is the game they play. They get it under contract for 145. They take advantage of the situation that this person's in. And they're not like disclosing what it could go for on the open market because they don't have to. They don't care. They take that 145 contract and they go to someone like me, for instance, and they say, hey, I'll sell this to you for 200,000 or yeah, I'll sell this property to you for $200,000. And I go, okay, yeah, that sounds like a good deal because it's worth 300 now, but after I repair it, it'll be worth 450. It's going to cost me X. Okay, got it. I'll buy it for $200,000. When I buy it, I'm actually buying the contract. I buy the contract, which means that I pay him $55,000. And then I pay the seller 145. You guys see that? That's called wholesaling.
So they're actually making a profit. Then you're actually getting a commission and not calling it.
Yeah, like if you're a piece of shit and you want to make money, you guys should go do that. That's my opinion on
Sound
that.
like me then in a second.
Well, I didn't want to stay on. I'm a little more strategic.
Pretty sure I said that on Daily Grind.
It to me, no offense if anybody does it, like I don't think anybody in this room does it. I think it's slimy because they're literally going in and bartering with someone's largest asset and they're not disclosing information and they're playing games like, ooh, I don't know, man. Like they're literally trying to take advantage of their emotions and their current distressed situation. They're in distressed situations. But it happens. So if we use cash offer as a MOFR, as a make offer for immediate response, the people that call those signs might talk to you instead. And now you can go in and say, hey, this is a really nice house, but it does need some repairs. I can get you a cash offer. Here's what it looks like. Or we could go directly on the market and open it up to everybody. And here's what it looks like. And here's how much you would net in both of those scenarios. Now they're making an informed decision. You're not trying to trick them into anything. And now they see all the cards on the table, how much they make going through the both scenarios. And guess what? Someone still might choose cash offer because they need it done in a week or whatever. But some people, a lot of people, 9 out of 10 are going to say, oh, I didn't realize if I listed it, I could make that much money. Because in their mind, they thought if they saved in the real estate commissions, that they would make more money. They didn't understand that the investor that's buying it is building in the real estate commissions because they have to sell it. That make sense? Cool. All right. Anything else?
I mean, to the wholesaler thing, like there are some wholesalers out there that I think do actually do a good job, but by and large, it's shady people.
Well, here's the reality. If you go to like they teach people how to do this, they teach you to walk in and him and haw. Like that's what they teach you. But it's
Well, I just saw now. This is kind of similar, but with the what's it called? We saw a lot of purchase and sale agreements come over this way. They're like basically not assuming
it's up to subject to.
Thank you, subject to.
Yeah.
So subject to is a similar kind of practice, except for some of these people have some limit.
Yeah.
You know, so they'll come in and if someone has very little equity, they'll come in and say, hey, we'll give you $5 grand and we'll take over and we'll make all your payments and all that. And they will, by the way. But the loan is in your name.
Yeah.
And if you're on the hook, if something goes bad and they're like, well, the market shifted, I'm out. They come to you to foreclose on it. They mess your credit up.
People were going for more about 2 years ago, a year.
Yeah.
To do it.
I just saw another ad called Bonus Home or Bonus. I think it's called Bonus Home. Be professional. I should have sent it to you. But they're like, hey, don't sell your home. Like, we'll give you all your equity today and we'll find a renter and we'll manage it. And then you get the upside when we sell it down the road. You guys need to understand what they're doing, using your credit to control real estate.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different, but than wholesaling, but it's very similar. Yeah.
That's a.
I've been presented with a couple subject to offers. My gut instinct is like absolutely not right for my clients. But like, is there a scenario where that makes sense for somebody, or is this just like the worst thing?
So Teresa said I got presented subject to
done one.
it hurts my
With Angela.
stomach, etc. Well, by the way, like you said, you did one,
With
and
Angela.
and like if something changes.
Oh, it did change.
Okay, well, maybe we have time. Maybe you can share the story, but here's what we do as realtors. Okay, and I actually can send this out to everyone if you want, but basically all you do is present the pros and cons, and then they make the choice. It's not up to you.
Mhm.
You present pros and cons, and advise them to get legal help, and you're not an attorney. But they are the one that ultimately makes the choice. You don't want them to come back later and yell at you because you said don't do it. Like that's not our job. Is not that. Our job is to present facts and allow them to make the choice. So anything you want to share on your subject too?
I was gonna say in my situation, it was an advantage for the seller for some reason. Like
They were facing foreclosure, if I remember right.
no, this particular seller of this house, they needed some type of tax benefit. They needed to hold the property for longer for mortgage interest reasons for something. I don't remember what. Angela was involved on that part. My buyer had came in with cash, and they were doing a subject too because they weren't quite credit ready. But I had been talking to one of our lenders who said in a couple, maybe in 6 months to a year, they will be ready. So they were positioned to be able to take over this home. Well, my buyer did not pay the mortgage, and they ended up kind of getting like a foreclosure type of energy from the seller because it's their, like you said, it's their money, their credit. So my buyer lost their equity that they put into this house, and they were basically given like $1,000 to just get out. That way, the original owner
Did
would
your buyer miss the payment? Is that what happened?
several payments.
So your buyer missed the payment and then lost all the equity?
Uh-huh.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
But
that was
just imagine this. Just imagine trusting someone else to pay your bills for you.
Mhm.
How excited are you about that?
Right.
That's essentially what subject to is. And there are people pounding the table telling you how great it is. There's same with wholesalers. Like I think here's the difference. As real estate agents, we're bound to a code of ethics, and we have to be a fiduciary for our clients. And a wholesaler will not get licensed because they will get sued.
Yeah.
So would it be the same thing as, I feel like I was approached by maybe a wholesaler when I was very first a real estate agent, and he was like, find me houses that people are distressed, and I'm like, this doesn't sound really on the up and up. You know, no, he didn't want it to be changed over into his name.
So you want to subject to?
Yeah, is that the same?
Yes, one of those names.
Sure, contract to sign.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Subject to, buyers are typically looking for the low rates of 5 or 6 years ago also. They're not gonna be subject to something that you bought in the last year.
Which was the
That's
advantage.
that's the book is that they're getting a 2.75 rate. And it's typically a rental for them. And
yeah.
they're gonna pay the bill.
They're not doing a full assumption. They're not putting it in their name.
Yeah, so they can't qualify the assumption
Yeah.
for whatever the reason is. So they get these to be rentals. They can't qualify. And then a lot of the subject twos will have trigger clauses that if they miss a payment, it automatically goes back to the seller. So your seller can be fairly protected, but I would never do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it just you're not entitled to your house anymore.
There was like a 19-year-old kid I saw on TikTok with like 70 properties.
Yeah,
Do you think he disclosed? I have 69 more of these.
yeah,
No, he's just like, this is freaking.
yeah.
I own all these rentals, right? Like, I was in. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I was in the market collapse, so I know that it can go back, even though it hasn't in a long time. It can, and if it does, every single one of those subject twos is gonna be like, your house that are walking away.
Typically you see those in markets where it's hard to sell.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody wants to sell, can't sell, like we saw it a lot in 22, 23. right? Now, at least in Idaho, it's not the market for that.
Or
Yeah,
just
yeah.
taking advantage.
I haven't seen some of that too.
Yeah, it's very nice.
So Brent, what's the number one way people should be using cash offers right now?
I think you guys should put it in your signature. I think anybody that has a distressed situation, you should offer it. Hey, it sounds like a cash offer might be an option for you. Is that something you want to sit down and talk about? I can present you with a cash offer. I just think what you guys need to remember is talk about it often, talk about it with any situation that requires or that you think might require it, but always offer a go-to market strategy alongside it. That's how you protect yourself as a real estate agent. So they know how much money they could make if they put it on the market versus accepting an investor offer. And that's how you're always going to protect yourself versus just going in with cash offers, not disclosing what it would sell for on the open market. You're opening yourself up for.
And we would just come to you guys and say, we presented this, or like, what's that process?
Yeah, like, if you're not confident, just send me the property and I'll tell you what the offer should look like.
Right, but I'm saying like, let's say we are confident, we got it all structured the right way. They say we want the cash offer, where are we getting the cash from? That's what I'm talking about.
Well, I'll write an offer, Chase would write an offer.
Okay, that's my question. Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I mean, we have.
I have local investors here that if I'm not gonna buy the property, they will.
Yeah, we know plenty of people with money, and this is part of, if it becomes part of your strategy, you should start to get to know people with money too.
Mhm.
That was part of the daily growth, was like, imagine calling your database and saying, hey, are you interested in investing in real estate in the next 5 years? They say yes, you put an investor tag on them, and now you have a list of people like, hey, I just came across a crazy deal.
Mhm.
And then boom, you can email it out, blind copy them all, and you maybe get 5 or 6 people raising their hand. Like, this is what we do. You provide value beyond just, opening doors, right?
Well.
Yeah.
All right. Right on time. Gratitude.